Hey guys, it's Grivenoni here. Before we get started with today's episode, I have a new nickname suggestion from you all in the comments. Today's nickname suggestion has been brought to us by UberDan9254, and he has suggested the nickname Like for our Mudkip. Now, if you're curious as to why Like is spelled like this, is because this particular spelling is in reference to an old meme. What old meme exactly? Well, the old meme. The memes of old concerning the Mudkips. So thank you very much, UberDan, for the suggestion. And now, let us begin the episode. Hey guys, it's Grivenoni here, and welcome back to Pokémon HeartGold. Last time, we entered the Battle Castle and fought our way to the facility to defeat yet another Frontier Brain inside the Battle Frontier. We dealt with a lot of challenges, but as usual, Blazer helped us prevail once again. This time, now that we have taken care of 4 of the 5 facilities, sort of, we are going to be taking care of the last facility here at the Battle Frontier. So before we do, let's talk to some more people because we're almost done here. You cannot try anything if you are afraid of losing battles. But getting into a battle knowing you have no chance of winning will only make your Pokemon suffer. That's not courage. Truly good trainers know the balance between courage and cautiousness. That is a good advice, especially if you actually consider Pokemon real beings here. What do you have to say? Fishing won't keep me calm since I came to know about the Battle Frontier. When I go fishing, I find myself quitting early and coming here. Interesting, so this place makes you give up on your dreams of being a good fisherman? Strange. What do you have to say, guy? Hello? All the places in the Battle Frontier let you team up with a friend. That's so cool, don't you think? I wish I had a friend to team up with. Same. Too bad you can't team up with me, bucko. I'm the super idol in Johto. I've come all the way to Battle Frontier to promote my latest song. But everybody seems to be a Pokemaniac here. Oh, jeez, you're one of those cases. Well, in any case, we're going to move on to the final battle facility here at the Battle Frontier, and that is the Battle Hall. Let each Pokemon seek number 1. Let's go inside. Welcome to the Battle Hall. Let's talk to some folks because, boy, this place is a lot. The Battle Hall lets you keep the winning streak records. That's neat, huh? Wait a sec. My friend and I can start challenges with identical conditions and see who can stretch their win streak the longest. That's even more fun. Yes, that is one way you can go about this facility if you have friends. We'll get into the specifics of what he means by win streak. Do you eat your favorite dish first or leave it for later? At the Battle Hall, it's better to start with the types that your Pokemon do not like. Why? Because the opposition goes up in level as you progress. Interesting. What do you have to say? Hello. The opulent stage. Your streaks of winnings are kept per each kind of Pokemon. Every Pokemon can get up there. Don't you think it's wonderful you can aim for the top with any Pokemon? Interesting. What do you have to say? Interesting. You actually have a name here, Serena. It's about the Battle Hall. It hasn't excited me lately. There's been no gorgeous sort of challenger who can dazzle me. The kind of challenger who can make me a fan. Aren't there any around? Well, I want to remember Serena for later when I go over this facility because she actually does matter substantially more than the NPCs in here. There is a reason I'm talking to everyone, and Serena is definitely the most important one of them. Slow. My Slowbro is a cutie, but he's even battled the brain here. But the brain will take your Pokemon at the same level, to be fair. Interesting. We get some info on the brain here. At the Battle Hall, if it's the same kind of Pokemon, you can enter different ones and still keep your record. You may want to have different ones knowing different types of moves. Oh, interesting. I actually did not factor that in. But good to know. You know how Hoppip has 2 types, grass and flying? That means he can appear as a grass type and as a flying type. Me? You could think of me as a light-hearted type and a beautiful type, I guess. Lady, hate to say, your years of light-hearted and beautifulness are long gone, and she's not even looking at me anymore. Fair enough. A piece of advice. At the Battle Hall, the opposing Pokemon are matched in level to yours. That way, you can choose any of your Pokemon without worrying about their levels. Yes, so now that we've talked to just about everyone here... Oh, wait, no, there's still you. Here's a tip. You should try the Battle Hall with not just your favorite Pokemon, but different kinds of Pokemon if you want to build your overall record as well. Okay, so now that we've kind of talked to everyone here, let's talk about how the Battle Hall works. So the Battle Hall is, without question, both the most straightforward facility as well as the most complicated and tedious facility in the game, especially if you want to unlock everything out of it. So the Battle Hall is substantially more unique in comparison to other facilities. Each round consists of 10 battles instead of the usual 7, and you may only use 1 Pokémon for single battles and 2 for double battles. The idea is to showcase that one specific Pokémon, and you get rewarded for keeping a streak going with that one Pokémon. Once the Pokémon is entered, you get to actually choose from a list of all Pokémon types and decide what type of Pokémon you want to fight. Now, at first, the opposing Pokémon are much weaker than your Pokémon, both in terms of base stats and level. But as you continue to fight Pokémon of the same type, they rank up and progressively get more difficult to fight, gaining higher stat totals and slowly encroaching on your level. Once you reach rank 10 in a certain type and defeat that, you are no longer permitted to challenge that type and must look at a different type. If you're curious as to how levels are determined in this particular facility, look at this image on screen here. Yeah, when Pokemon does math, they do math. Oh, but there is so much more to this facility than simply that and its impressive math. Because, like I said, this facility is meant to be an exposition of your Pokemon. And as a result of that, there is far more to calculate than simply the win streak of one Pokemon. The Battle Hall also calculates your overall total win streak between any and all of your Pokemon that you use here, as well as the amount of unique Pokemon that you use to challenge this facility. Let's explain the easiest one, which is the unique species reward. Once you get started at the Battle Hall, you get a fan that appears in the lobby. If you're playing as the male character, you get a girl named Serena, who is probably not that Serena. If you're playing as a female character, you get a boy named Winston as your fan. These two characters actually have dialogue that changes depending on how many Pokemon you ultimately use at the Battle Hall. Specifically, their dialogue changes at 1, 11, 31, 51, 101, 151, 251, 351, and 475 species of Pokemon, which at that point is literally every single Pokemon in the entire game that isn't forbidden at the Battle Frontier. Additionally, once you get your species count to 11 and 101 respectively, your fan will actually move closer to the attendant of the Battle Hall. Oh, but the win streak requirements are far more insane. More insane than anything you could possibly anticipate. Because in addition to your fan, certain major NPCs can also appear in the lobby to cheer you on. Based on the total combined win streak of all individual Pokemon used to challenge the Battle Hall. There's a 30% chance once per day that the NPC will spawn when the player hits a new win streak of 10 in the Battle Hall. Oh, but don't think they're just gonna show up right at the gate. You gotta earn their presence. To unlock Lyra or Ethan as a fan, depending on your character's gender, you gotta have a win streak of 500. Your mom can also appear in the lobby, but only after you get a win streak of 1,000 battles. Additionally, either Professor Oak and Whitney could appear as well, but only after you get a win streak of 10,000 battles. Let me repeat that. You have to win 10,000 times just so one of these two has a 30% chance of appearing. Oh, but that's not all. There's also additional BP that you can earn depending on how many successive wins you earn with all your Pokemon. For example, if 2 Pokemon win 10 times each, then the total record is 20. And when you complete a streak of 10, bonus BP will get awarded when it pushes the total past certain milestones. At 10 wins, you get 1 additional BP. At 30 wins, you get 3 BP. At wins 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, and 450, you get 5 BP. At wins 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and 1,000, you get 10 BP. At wins 1,200, 1400, 1600, and 1800, you get 30 BP. At 2000 wins, as well as every further multiple of 500 wins until you reach 10,000 wins, you get 50 BP. And once you reach 10,000 wins, as well as every further multiple of 10,000 until you reach 100,000 wins, you will receive BP equal to your win record divided by 100, ranging from amounts of 100 BP to 1,000 BP. So, yeah, it's ridiculous. And it is an insane amount of work to get everything that you could possibly get out of the Battle Hall. But at the same time, the rewards are fantastic. If you're willing to put in the time, there are insane things you can get out of this facility. But for obvious reasons, I am not going to be doing all that, because that is an absolute insane time killer. So for the purposes of this Let's Play, what are we going to be doing with this? Well, seeing as Blazer has been just absolutely killing it at all the facilities, I'm going to continue to glaze our God of Destruction today and have him do things. We are going to have to approach this slightly differently than before, and I'll explain why exactly, but trust me, it's not going to be as quick as you think it'll be. So let's go ahead and get started here. Welcome to the Battle Hall. I'm your guide to single double battle challenges. Please be aware those challenges are designed for a single trainer. Which challenge would you like to take? We are going to take the single battle challenge because, like all other battle facilities, if you want to fight the Frontier Brain, you have to do the single battle challenge. And like I said, we are going to be entering Blazer, and for once, Blazer's level actually kind of matters, as I've explained earlier, and you'll kind of see what the difference it'll make. And as always, we do have to save our game because they do not want us to do any scummy things, but that is totally fine here. Right this way, please. I'm going to go down this nice little entryway because there always has to be one for some reason. And yeah, we're going to be showing off God of Destruction Blazer in this fabulous arena. Please choose the type of Pokemon you will battle. So yeah, when I say any type of Pokemon, I really do mean it. Any type of Pokemon is on the table, and they all start off at rank 1. So to demonstrate how this works, I'm going to go ahead and go with rank 1 Bug and see what we get. Fan Club Department Manager, I hereby accept your challenge. Are you calling me the Fan Club Department Manager, or are you just saying that you are in a very weird way? Well, anyway, in this case, her Pokemon is just going to be starting out with is Wurmple. So it is level 50, which is it's about a third less than Blazer, which makes sense. So they wouldn't be starting out at exactly level 50 necessarily. The reason that it starts at level 50 is because of Blazer's level. If Blazer were a higher level, Wurmple would probably be a higher level as well. And once you do get a victory, you get that little bit of confetti every single time. And your Pokemon will be fully restored after every single fight. So now we're going to continue, and like all the other battle facilities, I am going to mostly skip over a lot of it because, again, this is a lot of tedious fighting, but I will still be talking about a few things as they come up. For the sake of demonstration, once again, I will be doing a second bug type, so you kind of see the level increment go up. My room is always full of bugs. That drives my mom just wild. Well, I would hope so. Your mom seems like a completely rational person. So yeah, now we're fighting Ladybug, and it's one level higher than before. Gee Christ. So one thing I am doing while we're going through these preliminary battles here is I am actually taking advantage of the Power Herb strategy, and I'm ripping off the Band-Aid for a few water types early on. Not that it particularly matters, because it's not like they necessarily get more difficult as you get to the next round necessarily. They're just guaranteed to become more difficult by virtue of them, just ranking up. Additionally, there is actually one thing I'm hoping to trigger, but at a certain point, if it doesn't show up, then I won't bother with it. But there is something that I do want to at least try to show up if it is remotely possible. If you're curious as to what I am trying to show up, given that these are really simple, basic one-on-one battles, There are certain Pokemon that I really want to see if I can show off, because there are 3 specific Pokemon in this battle facility that actually know moves that they're not supposed to know. And so if I can actually show those on screen, it'd be to my benefit. But if not, I'll just gladly point them out later. So it's at this point that I'm now at battle number 7, and you probably think to yourself, wow, you're almost done with the first round. That's very impressive. Nope, I am not done with the first round. As a reminder, I do not finish a round until I finish 10 battles. So me getting to round 7 means nothing. So do note here that I opted in for a grass type and ended up fighting Lotad, a water grass type. So just because you select a certain type that you like does not necessarily mean that it's going to be a Pokemon that you're going to do well against. It only guarantees one of the types. It may end up also having a type combination that's still an advantage over you, so keep that in mind. Okay, so now I've moved on to battle number 10. Just to kind of give you an idea of what I've been working on right now, I've mostly been concentrating on water, grass, bug, and rock types. Again, this is partially because I'm trying to show off a specific Pokemon among these types, but I haven't quite found it yet. But again, there is no real right or wrong way to do this, just anything that you would be comfortable doing. Again, I do recommend trying to work on some of the stuff that you're weak against earlier on, just to kind of get it out of the way. That way you can kind of concentrate on things that you would do better against later on, just to keep your win streak going. But to each their own. There really is no wrong way to do this. That's why I didn't really give any specific tips otherwise, aside from keep winning and keep winning a lot. So let's see if I can find it this time. Okay, Aroma Alicia. Okay, no, she does not have the Pokemon that I want. So I guess since we're here, let me talk about one of the Pokemon I'm talking about, because I'm not convinced at this point that I'm going to find it. So one of the Pokemon that you can fight here is Roselia. Now, Roselia on its own, not that big of a deal. But the thing is, in this facility, Roselia knows the move Sludge, which Roselia cannot normally learn. Yeah, Roselia has an illegal poison type move. Also, we're pointing out that once you complete a win streak of 10, you get a neat little extra bit of confetti. But yeah, we've completed 10 Battle Hall matches. For your stupendous win streak, you and Typhlosion get our awarded BP. We've got 1 whole BP, guys. You might think that's underwhelming, but again, we are going to get a little bit more. Don't forget. Okay, so Serena, now that I've completed a match of 10, what do you have to say now? Excuse me? If you don't mind me asking, are you getting into the Battle Hall? It's fun in an engrossing way, isn't it? Did you know? The more you win, the more kinds of Pokemon appear. Interesting. Thanks for the hot tips, Serena. So you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, sweet, that was really quick. I only have to do that a couple more times, right? Not exactly. Because these battles are one-on-one and they ultimately do not take all that long to complete, 21 battles is not the requirement to fight the Battle Frontier Brain this time. If you want to fight the Battle Frontier Brain, you got to win 50 battles in a row. So I'm only 20% done. I got to do this 4 more times with Blazer specifically. So cue the montage. Okay, so this lady has thrown out a Croconaut here, and I can tell you right now, this will guarantee that I'm not going to find one of the other Pokemon that I'm looking for. So let's talk about that. So among the Pokemon that you can technically fight here, Totodile is one of them. And Totodile in this facility knows the move Brine, which it cannot normally learn. So that is 2 Pokemon that I've confirmed that have straight up illegal movesets. Okay, youngster Joey is calling me. What do you want, Joey? Griffin, howdy. Joey, how are you? Oh yeah, I saw a wild Metapod. I thought I was going for it, but then I failed. Oh well, I guess that's just the way it goes. I'm not very good at catching Pokemon. Aw, come on, Joey, tell us about your cool Rattata. Okay, so that is 40 battles down. We still have 10 more to go, but I just wanted to kind of briefly take a moment to acknowledge that, yes, it really does require that much just to make any meaningful progress in the place. I also want to draw special attention to a particular class of trainer that popped up twice. There was an instance where I was fighting a scientist, and what's interesting about the scientist class is that in the overworld, the scientist is not using the overworld scientist model. They are using a, child model. However, this is not an error, because if you actually read the text, it's implied that he's using some sort of experiment to give him, more youth, and that the youth temporarily went away during the battle, which, I find very funny and interesting because this never came up in other battle facilities. This is just one of those things to just add a little bit more flavor to your experience of fighting Pokemon trainers here. And I think that's really cool, and I really wish they would do more things like that. But then again, I think they also went a little more unhinged with the dialogue in later games. So pick your poison. It's going to be weird either way. But we still have 10 more battles to do regardless, so let's get those last 10 battles taken care of. And before we get started with that, I am going to kind of show off how I am progressing with Blazer and kind of generally what I've focused on. Okay, so among the Pokemon that I've been working with, I've been doing a mix of Pokemon that I am good against and also weak against. I've been doing a good mix of water and grass types, for instance. I've done a lot of rock and bug types. I've done a few steel and ground types. I've also done a couple of flying and ice types throughout this campaign as well. I've not really touched electric for no particular reason. The only Pokemon that I've actively been avoiding for the most part are Pokemon that I don't really have any advantage against one way or the other. Not that they wouldn't be worth fighting, especially in rank 1, just trying to knock things out, but I just want to keep things interesting and give myself a bit of a challenge, but also give myself a bit of an advantage. Now, before we get into the last few battles, I do want to acknowledge the third Pokemon that I am more likely not going to fight, because I didn't find any of the other ones before either. The third Pokemon that also knows an illegal move among the Pokemon you could potentially find here in the Battle Hall is Anorith. If you fight Anorith here, it will have the move Stone Edge, which Anorith cannot normally learn. Now, to be fair, its evolution can learn Stone Edge, which is probably why the Anorith here can know Stone Edge in the first place. But that doesn't make this move on Anorith any less illegal. And the fact that 3 different Pokemon have illegal movesets in this facility specifically is really ridiculous and also very funny. So yeah, let's continue on with our next challenge and press on ahead to the end, and hopefully we'll find out what's in that bottom right-hand corner over there. What's also interesting about this particular facility, and not just for this facility actually, it's been coming up in a few other battle facilities, we're encountering trainer classes that we don't really see in this game, or at least not outside of the battle frontier. This is interesting because these are actually trainer classes that we can find in Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Like the Pikachu cosplay and the waitress here. You wouldn't find those trainer classes out in the field, at least not in this game. But here, they do show up, and I'm glad that they are here in some capacity. Another thing to note when dealing with poison types, just based on my observation, a lot of the poison types that you're more likely not going to encounter are grass types. So if you are using a fire type, definitely keep that in mind. This is a poor example of that, but yeah. We can legitimately counter grass types among the poison types, as you probably saw during the montage. But of course, Nidoqueen has to show up and disprove that point immediately. Okay, and no Shadow Ball. I was very worried it was going to go for Earthquake, but I should be fine. But at this point, I'm not going to touch poison types, because even though they are still weaker than Blazer, evidently in levels, it is still abundantly clear that the SAT totals are increasing. So if I want to keep an easy streak going, I need to back off on poison types for the immediate moment. The main reason that I was going for poison types, aside from the fact that Blazer knows Earthquake, is because Roselia is a Pokemon that can potentially show up among the poison types. So I wanted to try my luck at getting that because I was able to find a lot of other grass poison types, including Roselia's pre-evolution twice. Ground types have also been proving to be a relatively tricky type to work with because in some cases I'm getting a free pass, but in most cases with the ground types I've been dealing with, it's not just been as simple as, oh, I have Solar Beam, therefore I win, because it's super effective. The first instance of me fighting ground type was a Gibble, and now the third instance of me fighting a Gabite, which, you know, we've established are very, very good Pokemon. So it is interesting that ground types are really not screwing around here. All right, let's see what rank 8 bug would be in this case. We've seen multiple, like, really weak bug types. The biggest threat was that Fortress I fought toward the end of the montage. But nothing much. Okay, Vespiquent's pretty good. That makes sense at rank 8. I mean, it's still no match for God of Destruction Blazer here, but, I mean, if I haven't proven that Blazer is very good here, I don't know how else I could do it. Because Blazer has been killing it. Seriously, I really hope that this experience with the Battle Frontier has really helped to kind of show off Blazer's potential here. Because again, when we were going through the main story of things, for the most part, Blazer was just using Flamethrower and Earthquake occasionally. But here, we're really seeing everything that I put into Blazer come into effect here. Because every single decision I've made concerning Blazer and its moveset really paying off here, and I'm really happy to see it all pay off. I know y'all probably want to see me give credit to Saris or something, but again, if the stakes weren't high enough, then I would consider using Saris, but stakes are high. I do want to do well enough here. God, this department manager, she just won't leave me alone. She doesn't have anything else to do. You had a Delibird. Have the Delibird deal with the deliveries of your department store, lady. Oh, Jesus. She knows. Guys, they know. If you know, you know. And I'm telling you, they know. They know what happened. They know what this horrible blight on society did. Okay, we just need to deal with one more Pokemon, and then we can fight the Frontier Brain. So let's just take on one more Ice type and fight the exact same woman again. Not bad, not bad, not bad at all. Oh, it actually is faster than Blazer. Minor problem. But also, perish. Burn to ashes once more. And there we go. I was worried about getting my coat dirty. Who cares about your battle? What the heck? What do you mean who cares? I've won 49 times. Anyway, here we go. Battle number 10 is next. Are you ready? Yes, I am. Okay, interesting. So we get to choose the type again. I'm gonna go for Electric this time. Excuse me, please hold on a moment. In recognition of your remarkable winning streak, our Frontier Brain is demanding a match with you. Actually, you have no choice. You must battle our Hall Matron. Yeah, so remember when I said, point at that little bottom right symbol there? This is what this is for. So, I have no idea what's in store for us, but we're gonna find out. Oh, now the room is fully lit up. But here we go, guys. The most fabulous Hall Matron in all the land. So many pictures. Such fabulosity. So old. My battle hall allows trainers to mount challenges with their one preferred Pokemon. I imagine there were tense moments getting here with your chosen one, but understand that this one shines the brightest when a challenge is overcome. I am Argenta, and I am your final and most daunting challenge. I dare you to overcome my challenge. Here we go, guys! Final Frontier Brain, Argenta! We're challenged by Hall Matron Argenta. She's going to be using Gengar, level 75. As for its moveset, I will have it on screen because Argenta's Pokemon will be a random Pokemon whose stat total is comparable to your own. Since Blazer's stat total exceeds 500, she can use any Pokemon that pretty much falls in that category or higher. Now, unlike Frontier Brains, in case it has not been as firmly established, she has to be fought at the 50th battle for her first encounter. But if you want to fight her for the second time, you have to battle through this facility 170 times, where she will use a Pokemon of an even higher caliber. And because of the randomness of her one Pokemon, she has no proper canon team. The only thing that we kind of have for her is that in the manga, she did use a Dragonite, but so does Palmer. And in Pokemon Masters, she uses a Skarmory, which can Dynamax. So, yeah, nothing really concrete for Argenta. And frankly, there isn't anything interesting about her otherwise. But again, there is no concrete strategy here. She is totally unpredictable, and this can really go on. This can go one way or the other, honestly. Because Gengar's good, but so's Blazer. So, I don't know. I think given the circumstances, I am just going to keep using Flamethrower as much as I can, because I have to assume that this Gengar has Levitate, and Focus Blast and Solar Beam are not going to work. Yep, it's got Sludge Bomb. That's a problem. Oh, no. I don't think we can do it. Unless we get a critical hit right now. Never doubt it! Not for a second, Blazer! Let's go! Oh, I detest how fun times seem to end so quickly. Oh, Blazer! Never doubt the king! Never doubt the god instruction, Blazer! Let's go! A good trainer doesn't force their preferred Pokemon on anyone. A good one keeps their favorite without drama or fanfare. Well, without drama, yes. Fanfare, oh, heck yeah. That is how I see it, at least. And by the way I see it, you're an excellent trainer. Be sure to visit the Battle Hall again with a favorite Pokemon. Until then, bye-bye. There we go. I'm not going to delete that battle video, but hey, we completed the 10th Battle Hall match. And for defeating the Battle Frontier Brain, we once again get 20 BP. On top of the 6 I got previously. Joy. Congratulations. In honor of your victory, we present you with this commemorative print. The silver print was added to Griffin's verse recorder. So we got every print. Except for Palmer's, but that critical hit mattered. I don't care what anyone says, that crit mattered. Okay? And with that, that is the entirety of the Battle Frontier covered. I have gone over every single battle facility and challenged each and every one of the Frontier Brains successfully. I was not able to defeat all of them, but I was able to defeat the majority of them in their initial match. So I still consider that an overall win. I'm just happy that I was able to fight them all to begin with. So next time on Pokemon HeartGold, now that we have covered the Battle Frontier in its entirety, we are going to fly back to Fuchsia City, and we are going to talk about one more facility that I did not cover in our initial visit. And in doing so, we will bear witness to the return of the king.